Hello world. This is going to be a fairly quick video. I just wanted to talk about cycle trading and Mara and Bitcoin. So what's next? This video is not to explain what cycle trading is. I could post links to how I learned about cycle trading. I actually learned about cycle trading through Camel Finance on YouTube. Amazing resource. I'm actually part of his community. I signed up. I bought his PDF. That's how I learned cycle trading. And I use cycle trading to guide me in terms of finding entry and exit points for my trades. So in the stock market, I mostly trade Mara, and I use Mara as my way to trade Bitcoin in the stock market. So Mara is the trade that I make. And I just wanted to call something out because Mara has an upcoming daily cycle low. If you don't know what that is, that's something related to cycle trading. So the daily cycle low, if my count is correct, is coming up September 29th. And also we have something called a moon cycle. I used to think these things were crazy, but honestly, I've been tracking these things for a few months now, and they seem to align. I don't know what it is about moon cycles and some of these cycle trading methods, but there's some truth to it. I learned about moon cycles from another YouTuber called Bratan. So I could put both links in the description if you all want to check it out. But anyway, the point is, if you know, Mara has an upcoming daily cycle low, and we also have a new moon cycle coming up September 21st. So between those 2 date ranges, a new moon usually means we're going to have a dump or a correction in the stock market. So we have a new moon that's coming up. So let's see what that looks like on the chart. So if I go to the chart here, Mara made a big move this week, which is really impressive, as I see here. And what's crazy is Mara was respecting my trend lines that I've drawn out here almost the entire year. So like I said earlier, we have a daily cycle low coming up September 29th, which is right here. So within this window, I think we might have a market correction. This is what my signals are telling me here. And you could see how Mara actually respected this top line right here, which tells me most likely we are going to take a dump in here. And the funny thing is, the new moon is supposed to be September 21st, which is right here in this window. So almost in the starting window of this daily cycle low for Mara, if my count is correct, is when we have the new moon. And then Mara is supposed to bottom out somewhere here. So be careful next week, folks. I think we might have a dump or some type of correction. I don't know if it's going to be a small correction, a medium, or a large. I have no idea. I just know we're getting close to that window where we're going to get some type of dump in the market. So I'll update that next week. We'll see how this plays out, but that's my warning signal here. I actually have 3 positions in Mara. I exited 2 of those positions today. I scalped some pretty good profits. So I'm just waiting for this correction, and then I'll probably go back in tomorrow once we have the correction. All right, so that's it for Mara. Next thing, really quick, I wanted to finish up what I was trying to do after the FOMC meeting from yesterday. I wanted to finish these scenarios that I was trying to plot out. So just a quick recap. FOMC meeting we had, I said we have scenario 1, which is 23 days from Fed pivot. Okay, let me type the full thing here. So these are our scenarios. 23 days from Fed pivot. The Fed pivot was yesterday, 9/17. We had at 25 basis points. So my idea was, if we think the 25 basis points is not going to have an impact, we'll maintain the 23 days, similar to what happened during the GFC. If we think, or at least this is what I think, because the rate cut was smaller than the GFC, I have a feeling it will take double the time. So this scenario, I think, is unlikely. Honestly, I don't see Bitcoin topping out 1010. I think that's unlikely. This one, 46 days from Fed pivot. Okay. So if we add 46 days to the Fed pivot, that takes us to November 2nd. I think this is highly likely because all along I've said, if I had to take a wild guess when Bitcoin might top out, I think it might be end of October into November. So this November date here, I feel more comfortable with than the October date. I feel like early October is it just seems too early to me. Then I did the 530 days. If we did an average of the number of days that Bitcoin has typically gone from pre-halving and then post-halving, the average is about 530 days. If we use that number, that's how we came up with a 10-8 date. Okay. And then I did another math here using 534 days, which is just me taking the total number of days. Just watch the previous videos if these numbers don't make any sense. So I added that. We have a 10-12 date. Now, let's do this. Let's add a new scenario here. Scenario 5, which is max 548 days from halving. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking 548, which based on historical patterns, again, this is me just using historical patterns to try to predict the future. Based on historical patterns from the previous cycles we've had, the maximum number of days so far we've had in every Bitcoin cycle post-halving to the top was 548, okay? So let's just use that 548 number. If we take that number, that is 18 more days from the 530 days, okay? So what we could do is just take the 530 days and add 18 more days. That takes us to October 26th. So I think this is another highly likely scenario. Like I keep saying, I feel like end of October into November makes the most sense to me. That's what I'm thinking in my head. And then I'll call this scenario 6. And then we'll have a last scenario, scenario 7, which I'll call cycle broken. So cycle broken means none of this holds up. So either it topped early and we already had the top and this is a fake out, which I think is very unlikely, or we have an extended cycle or double top. Okay. So these are the scenarios that I think might happen. In a nutshell, because these October dates are very close, honestly, I'll just give a range of 10-8 to 10-12 as one scenario. Okay. So this is one scenario to top out. And then we have another scenario, 10-26 to 11-2. Okay. So these are one of the two scenarios in terms of a date range. I'm looking to at least possibly exit my positions. Okay. So that's what I'm thinking. Let me know what you guys think. Leave some feedback. And that's all I have for today. Thanks. Bye.